I have an unpopular opinion.
If you would like to learn about fairy folklore, delve into modern fairy faith spirituality, and explore fun and fanciful fairy-themed events, please subscribe to Fairy Fortunes for new videos every Friday.
Hello, my fair friends. I'm Ruby Ruse, and today on Fairy Fortunes, I wanted to share an unpopular opinion. Yikes. Bunny Mom! I recently read a new book in the magical community that is immensely popular, and I really didn't like it. Like, I really didn't like it. I feel that if you ask the author, what is one thing that you would like your audience to take away from this book that you wrote, that he would not be able to answer it. Because in my opinion, the book was just everywhere all at once. It was very unfocused, it was undirected, and I felt like he was trying too hard to put too much in the book. He was like, oh, I want to throw this in and I want to throw that in. It was like he was throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick. It just comes across, well, at least to me, it came across as very cluttered. I went ahead and wrote a review of this book on Goodreads, and I shared it with a good friend of mine, and my good friend was absolutely horrified that I had posted this review to the world. The reason that I did that is that this book is being so hyped up all around the world, which, you know, good for this author, you know, like, whatever I think about this book, this author made a risk. He was vulnerable. He put together an artistic endeavor and he released it and manifested it into the world. So that alone is worth something. Power to this author. Like, how wonderful for this person, and that should be absolutely celebrated. I think, though, what has me the most troubled about posting this review and some of my very good friends being like, oh, is that I have this idea that a witch is a person that went against the popular opinion, that was the counterpoint, if you will, that was willing to stand alone if necessary. That to me is what I feel a witch is it's a person that really delves into their own experience and is willing to hold an unpopular opinion, if you will. So I'm disappointed to see that it's now become unpopular in the magical community to stand up and say, I didn't like this very popular book. I didn't like it at all. I got nothing out of this. And in my review that I wrote, I was like, here is why I didn't like it. And the reason that I posted it is that I wanted people to see that there was somebody out there that had something else to say so that they could discern. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm reading reviews for products, books, things that I want to purchase or look into, I look at the 1-star reviews, because I want to see what people didn't like, because that's information to consider. A lot of times after I read the 1-star reviews, that's when I make the purchase of the product. So I think there needs to be a counterpoint. There needs to be another voice out there in the magical community. And another thing, like, I felt that some of my points were valid. I'm like, this book did not live up to its title. It had nothing to do with this particular topic that was slapped on the cover, and really went in a complete different direction inside the work. I think, though, where my frustration really lies, like what the main problem I'm having, is this movement towards conformity in a community that was supposed to stand outside of that conformity. We were supposed to be the alternative voices. And I feel like now we're just all trying to fit in, I guess. Yes, fitting in is important. You do want a community of like-minded people, but I think we're going into dangerous territory in our modern world if we aren't allowed to voice an unpopular opinion. Now, I do want to point out that there's a difference between an unpopular opinion and being cruel. I didn't attack the author personally. I didn't say, oh, he's an idiot, he doesn't know what he's doing, this was stupid. In fact, I was fairly gracious. I was like, this is a very delightful human. They are very warm and welcoming on social media. I didn't attack them, the author, personally. I was addressing things in the book that I felt was lacking, that I felt could be expanded upon more. I basically said that the book did not live up to its title. Here's what I was expecting, and I didn't receive that from this work. It's like when I read a book, I'm like, there are moments in the book like I'm like, I remember this specific thing. I got this epiphany out of this book. I want the author to know what a possible epiphany would be for an audience member. And that's, I think, a problem with some of the authors, is that they are writing for themselves and they're not necessarily writing to share with an audience. And I wish that more authors in the magical community would think more about, what do I want to give? What do I want people to receive? I think that they need to form better relationships to the people who are reading their books. I think it's bad that the magical community has gone into this mode where it's not okay to do that. Like, we don't need to hurt one another, but if someone is not doing their best work, it is kinder to say to someone, hey, I feel like you can do more than this. We don't need to hurt one another. We don't need to be cruel and mean. We don't need to tell people that they themselves are horrible people. We don't need to tell them, oh, you're a terrible author. No, that's not what I mean. What I want to see is, I want to see a community that makes space to challenge one another to be the very best that we could be. That's what I want to see. Have courage to be who you could be. And I feel like if we aren't allowed to share those unpopular opinions, that we will never be able to reach that. And with that, my fair friends, have a magical day.